With the Phantom Liberty expansion, CDPR added in a new quick start option for the game. So now, when starting a new game, you can just immediately jump far enough into the story to play Phantom Liberty. But what you may have not known is this will actually bring several secret changes to the world. You're going to no longer have Jackie Wells or Mama Wells as a contact in your phone. Typically after the heist, you have the option to call Jackie and leave a heartfelt message. And though this could just be an oversight, we even saw in the last update, CDPR added back in several things that were missing from this alternate start option, things were at least partially intentional. If you start from the beginning of the game, after you finish the heist mission, you can go to the afterlife and order a drink in honor of Jackie Wells. The bartender will recite his order, and you can even finish your sentence by mentioning a splash of love at the end, just like Jackie ordered it. But if you did use this quick start option, you will instead read off a completely wrong drink order, and the bartender will have to correct you.
A bowl with the bun? Yeah, sorry to hear.
Maybe mix up a shot of tequila? Some grapefruit Nicola?
Nice. No, I know what he'd want. Vodka on the rocks, lime juice, ginger beer, and most important, a splash of love.
That's him, all right.
And we call it...
Jackie Wells.
As well as now, during some other quests, Jackie will be referred to as a Haywood pawn instead of using his name. Overall, it seems like CDPR treats you skipping the prologue like you never really developed a relationship with Jackie, and in turn, don't know him super well. The Killing Moon quest from Phantom Liberty has a ton of secret interactions and Easter eggs sprinkled all throughout it. Right at the start of this quest, you're going to meet up with Songbird in an alley, and while it does seem safe enough, you're actually being watched. There's a suspicious homeless man off to the side, and right as you first arrive at this location, you'll find his eyes are glowing blue. This likely being a proxy for Mr. Blue Eyes himself monitoring the situation, or just an FIA agent. And as you progress through this quest, actually going to the spaceport and entering into the orbital air terminal, you'll find several more suspicious travelers. Many of these have their eyes glowing blue, and several even are holding phones, videotaping the area, but in all likelihood actually videotaping you. And even a bit later, Mr. Blue Eyes himself can be spotted as you work your way through this other terminal. He'll just be standing up there overwatching the area. Sometimes he'll walk around a bit, but if you break stealth, or once you actually get to this segment of the quest where you're in the same area, Mr. Blue Eyes will be gone. So clearly there is more going on during this quest than meets the eye, whether it be Mr. Blue Eyes ensuring his op is a success, or maybe it is just the FIA having spies all over with a far deeper grasp on the situation than we realize. But a bit more fun of an Easter egg, after this drive with So-Mi, once you arrive at the spaceport, you can actually run off to the side like I do here and find the Predator. You'll find a cloaked enemy with mantis blades out, taking down somebody else in this mini jungle. This is going to be a direct reference to the movie Predator, where predators cloak themselves and take out marines in the jungle. There's even a shard talking about this, which you could find on the body. It's a message to B, talking about a moon with a jungle and some monster there that's a threat. Unfortunately though, at this point in the quest, your weapons and cyberware are disabled, so there's no attacking the Predator and gaining his abilities. The beat on the Brat questline, aka those boxing missions in Night City, are widely regarded as one of the best and most enjoyable aspects of the game. After you beat all of the local talent, you'll end with a larger fight against an actual champion. This person is known as Razor, but if you completed this questline before starting the Killing Moon, you could actually get a pretty cool reference here. After going through the security at the spaceport, a fan of boxing will recognize you. They'll introduce themselves as Agony, just being a regular. V will respond confused to how this person knows us, but eventually the traveler will recall that they know us from the Razor fight.
Got it! Yeah! Razor! Oh, you slapped him silly! Excellent fucking show of force! Hey, would you sign my chest? Or, I don't know. Let me get a pic with you.
And seemingly has been following our progress in the boxing world in Night City. At one point during the Killing Moon, you have to go this route to get to the rooftop elevator. And there's actually two routes here. Most people will just go straight through this door, but there's also a secret secondary path with some extra goodies. You can break through the second secured door for some loot, but also later on you'll find a message from Yennefer from The Witcher. There's a shard titled Last Wish that reads, "Ever since we professed our love to each other," up at the very top with a view of the whole world, "I knew right then and there nothing could separate us except accept death. And this is a reference to the quest The Last Wish from The Witcher. This is a part of Yennefer's own questline and ends with a view overlooking the landscape with Geralt telling Yennefer that we love her, this being the view she references as a view of the whole world. And the shard continues, if you're reading this letter, it means that time has finally come. My final wish is that you take my ashes to the moon and scatter them from the highest peak as you gaze at the stars and think of me. Why? So this does seem to confirm that Yennefer and Geralt do travel to the time of Cyberpunk, but Yennefer clearly died, and even next to the shard you could find some other miscellaneous luggage as well as an urn that is likely holding Yennefer's ashes. In the Witcher series, Yennefer can open these portals to other places and seemingly to other times as well, so perhaps this little Easter egg is a clue to some kind of time travel plotline that'll be used in a future piece of Witcher media. But after you do finish the entirety of the Killing Moon quest, there is even a secret message left for you by Songbird. If you return to the alley where you got in her van originally, you'll find a new shard as an ending message from this character. It seems like almost regardless of what you do, this shard will be here, and it definitely makes whatever choice you made have a bit more impact.
If you're watching this, you know how our story ended. I'm a smidge jealous, I'll admit. I'm scared, V. But I need to trust you, and I do. And if you're watching this, I was right to. So, I thank you.
With patch 2.02, CDPR mentioned a variety of balance changes they added to the game, these being based off community feedback. The vast majority of these went undocumented until a follow-up tweet came a few days later, revealing what weapons were buffed and nerfed, and some of these changes are actually pretty big. The already powerful Deserter shotgun got even more powerful with a flat 5% damage boost. And trust me, if you're not using this weapon, you are missing out. It'll 1 or 2 shot almost every enemy in the game. Roscoe also got a gigantic buff, as now limb shots with this weapon will have more force, making it so you will knock down most enemies with just a singular shot to the leg. This being incredibly strong, as the unique effect of Roscoe is after shooting an enemy in the leg, the next headshot will always be an insta-kill. So now it's incredibly easy to land these combos, making it one of the best weapons in the game. Widowmaker was reworked into a burst weapon with patch 2.0, and it could burst for even longer as its magazine size was increased from 8 to 10 shots, notably increasing its DPS, and even Mantis Blades got buffs across the board. So now Mantis Blades will deal more damage, have faster attack speed, and cost less stamina to use. So if you're already using Mantis Blades, they should definitely feel a bit more powerful now. Whether you love or hate the vehicle contract missions you can get from El Capitan with Phantom Liberty, there is a reason we're getting these constantly. It's because all of the other drivers in Night City suck, and there's even some proof of that. Out next to the arena in the combat zone, you can find a crashed driver that was also hired by El Capitan. Next to this destroyed car, you'll find a box of rewards, but also a shard that details a back and forth between the driver and El Capitan, just like we typically have. But this driver was simply going too fast for conditions, and things ended in a less than ideal way. After patch 2.0, you should be scrapping basically 97% of the clothes you find in the game right now. If you loot a piece of clothing, this will be automatically added into your wardrobe. So visually speaking, you can use any of the clothing you've looted and assign them to various outfits to determine the look of your character. The key part being, you don't actually need to own this clothing or have it in your inventory, so you could scrap all of it and get a ton of crafting components, because as you scrap any of this various clothing, it'll drop a corresponding tier of crafting component for you. I typically keep a couple of pieces of clothing that do actually have stat bonuses, but considering 95% don't, there really isn't any reason anymore to actually keep these clothing items in your inventory. Just scrap them and use them for crafting later on. You can be a stealthy netrunner in Night City by just uploading the Sonic Shock quick hack to enemies first, but one of the other most powerful quick hacks for those trying to be a stealthy netrunner is Memory Wipe, and specifically tier 4 Memory Wipe and higher, as what this will do is make quick hacks uploaded after Memory Wipe untraceable, at least for a short amount of time. So as you're hacking somebody, just upload Memory Wipe first, then you could upload a full queue of other quick hacks, and that enemy will never begin tracing you because all of those quick hacks were untraceable. And I've had quite a bit of success using both Memory Wipe and Sonic Shock in tandem for a true and proper stealth netrunner their build. At some of these airdrops in Dogtown, you can find a new shard titled Help Me Please. It's from someone in a work camp outside the Polish People's Republic. They describe being a prisoner here for 12 years, as well as horrible working conditions at 15 hours a day, as they're making weapons for Arasaka. So seemingly here, they've snuck this note onto this weapon crate that is now crash landed in Dogtown. Due to the shard mentioning Poland, and of course CDPR being based out of Poland, there's quite a bit of speculation that this was actually a secret message from one of the developers talking about CDPR's own working conditions. But in reality, this shard is almost certainly a reference to a real-life letter that was secretly stuffed in a larger shipping crate from someone working 15 hours of forced labor in a Chinese labor camp. So the shard really has a dual meaning. It's meant to highlight how dark parts of the cyberpunk universe can get and how brutal some conditions are for others in this world, but also how those closely resemble real-world issues happening right now. Depending on what happens to Alex during the main story of Phantom Liberty, one of two things will happen. If she doesn't make it, you can find her in the graveyard in Night City. Off to the right side, outside of this wall, she has a grave reading. Not the retirement you dreamed of, but the kind that fate dealt. I hope you can forgive me and thanks for everything. This was seemingly written by Solomon Reed. But conversely, if Alex lives, she'll actually send you a postcard from Monte Carlo, which you'll eventually find on your door. With that in mind, there's some of the hidden features or Easter eggs you could find right now in Cyberpunk 2077, and really many of these being a part of Phantom Liberty. And if you're interested in more secret features, specifically those around gameplay features added with Phantom Liberty, check out this video.